Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. If you are on a path to greatness, if you are looking to achieve very, very big goals, I think you've got to look in the mirror and ask yourself a really, really significant question. I think you've got to ask yourself, am I willing to become the person I need to be in order to achieve my goal or achieve my mission? I think it's a really, really important question. Am I willing to become the person I need to be in order to achieve my goal? I want you to think about that one for a moment. Because here's the reality. If you want to double your success or triple your success, or even increase your production by 10 or 20%, or whatever it may be, the person you need to be looks different than the person you are today. Let's just take sales, for example. If you're a person selling 12 widgets a year, if you want to double your production of widget sales from 12 to 24, you've got to become an entirely different person. The person doing 24 sales acts different, talks different, thinks different, trains different, surrounds himself with different people. It is an entirely new version of you. So again, I think we have to start there. We've got to be honest with ourselves, and we've got to ask, am I willing to become a different person? Am I willing to become the person I need to be to get to where I want to be, to get to where I want to go? Here's also the reality of this. This is what makes it so hard. And sometimes it's hard to even admit it. But your current self, who you are right now, is actually at odds with who you want to become or who you must become. Why are those two versions of you at odds? Well, your current self is pretty comfortable. Your current self is maybe content, maybe even complacent. It's not a terrible place to live, right? Like for some, yeah, maybe it's like, I want to grow. I get that. But at the same time, being comfortable is not a terrible place to be. But in order to get to where you want to go, you got to be uncomfortable. You got to be an entirely new version of you. So look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I willing to become the person I need to be in order to achieve that goal, achieve that mission? Now, if you're listening to the No Days Off podcast and you know what we're all about here, getting better every single day, odds are you're here because you intend to be a different version of you. You intend or you understand that you've got to change in order to get to where you want to go. So I'm going to make the assumption, if you've listened this far to this episode as well as other episodes, you're on the path to getting better. Now that you've asked yourself about your willingness to be a different person, I want you to ask 4 primary questions that go along with the big overarching theme. Next question, or I should say the first question or sub-question I want you to ask, now that you know you're willing to become the person you need to be, I want you to ask yourself, what must I learn? What must I learn? What do I not know right now that I have to learn or that I have to better understand to get to where I want to go? Jot that question down. What must I learn? And then jot down the first 1 or 2 or 3 things that come to mind. You could always come back to this, but I want you to play along with me today. What do you have to learn? Where are there holes in your game? Where do you lack knowledge? And you've got to change that to get to where you need to go. Next question. What must you stop doing? What must I stop doing right now that is standing in my way of getting to where I want to go? Maybe I need to stop hanging around a certain group of people. Maybe I need to stop wasting time on a specific activity. Maybe I need to stop going to bed late. Maybe I need to stop making excuses. Whatever it may be, what must I stop doing right now? And in doing so, it aids me in getting to where I need to go and becoming the person I need to become in order to achieve that goal or that mission. What answers do you have? Just jot down the first 1, 2, 3 that come to mind. Next question. What new habits must I create? What new habits must I create? In order to get to where you want to go and become the person you want to become, that person, again, is wired differently, is doing things, activities different than the present version of you. So, what new habits do you have to create? Write down what comes to mind. Last question. What relationships am I missing right now that I need to add? Remember, in order to become the person that I need to become, in order to get to where I want to go, what relationships am I missing that I need to add? Maybe it's a coach. Maybe it's a mentor. Maybe it's a hire, like an assistant or some other sort of leverage. Maybe it's a partnership. Maybe just an accountability partner. What relationships am I missing that I need to add? So there's 4 big questions. Remember, the overarching question is, am I willing to become the person I need to be in order to achieve my goal, achieve my mission? The sub questions, the big 4 sub questions: what must I learn? What must I stop doing? What new habits must I create? And what relationships am I missing that I need to add? Now, I'm going to give you one more question. It's a bonus question. It's probably one to always be reflecting on. It's a bonus question. So you had the big 4. Here comes the bonus. What got me to where I am today, but won't get me to where I intend to go? What is it that got you to where you're at right now, but it's actually not going to get you to where you intend to go? A lot of salespeople, maybe that's just a natural ability to talk, to socialize, to build relationships. Maybe for a lot of hard-charging entrepreneurs that are listening, it's just your work ethic. Your work ethic got you to where you are today, but it may not get you to where you intend to go. There's probably a natural ceiling there. So a lot to think about. A lot to think about. Again, you're listening to this podcast, so it leads me to believe that you have a desire to improve yourself in order to achieve bigger goals. If that is in fact the case, now let's be more tactical around how we're going to go about improving ourselves, which then leads to the questions that I was asking, those 4 sub questions in the bonus. My job here at No Days Off, I think, is to do everything I possibly can to give you the tools, the resources, the guidance, the feedback, the experiences. And in doing so, hopefully play a role in you answering those 4+1 bonus question. That's what I'm intending to do here. That's what I aspire to do. Hopefully I'm not doing too bad of a job of it. And if that's the case, please share this with everybody else. I think today's message is a really important one. I think your peers, those that you spend the most time with, they should be thinking this way too. And if they're not, well, you might need to find a new group. But I don't think that's the case. I think you're hanging around the right people. I think you're all on a mission to get better. And for you, plugging into today's episode and plugging into all that we talk about here at No Days Off, I love the path you're on. That's all we have for you today, the No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.